Hello everybody, and good evening or whenever you're watching this, and welcome back to another Fisch video. In today's video, I'll be covering everything that has been added in Fisch's latest update. There will be timestamps up on screen if you so wish to skip to those parts, since this video might be a little longer than my regular videos. So, firstly, there is a new quest at Sunstone Island, which you will have to help Merlin collect 4 different shards to receive different rewards. So, coming over to Sunstone Island, and over here. So, about this, he will ask you to collect 4 different shards: the Shard of Amber, Shard of Nebula, Shard of Roots, and Shard of Tides. These are 4 different rifts that will open, such as this one. And a pop-up will appear saying a rift has opened in Sunstone Island. So, entering these rifts will require you to do a obby, such as this. And after completing them, you will receive the shard. So there is a time limit for this as well, and touching the water will kill you. So after completing these 4 different rifts, you will obtain 4 different rewards. So first one would be this title. The second one is a bobber, the magic ball bobber. The third one is the enchanted book lantern, and the fourth one is the skin for a rod, but that rod doesn't exist yet. So this rod may or may not come out in the next week's update. So that's it about this part. Next, I will go over the changes made to hunt fishes, such as the Kraken, Megalodon, Mossjaw, etc. So firstly, the Megalodon, Ancient Megalodon, and Phantom Megalodon all have a bite similar to the Scylla, where the bar will shrink and a portion of your progression will be taken away. Next is the Kraken and Ancient Kraken. These 2 fishes now have a passive where the bar will be either forced to the left side or the right side, and your progression will drop by a little bit. Next is the Mossjaw and Elder Mossjaw. These fishes now have a small bite, which will reduce your progress by a little bit. And lastly, the Colossal Blue Dragon, Colossal Ancient Dragon, and Colossal Ethereal Dragon all have a passive where it will either give you progression or take away that progression. And that's about it for all the hunt fishes. Next, there are massive changes to items. Some items have a price reduction by a substantial amount. So we'll go over to that now. So firstly is the glider at Ancient Owls. It is now priced at $9,000. The advanced glider has unfortunately been increased. It is now 10,000 credits. The magic mirror from the traveling merchant has been reduced to 50,000. The traveler's whistle is now 250,000, and the tiebreaker is now 40,000. Next, the totems. So the Eclipse totem is now 200,000. The Blizzard totem is now 150,000. The Aurora totem is now 500,000. The Zeus Storm and Poseidon Wrath totem are both now at 150,000. The Blue Moon Totem is now 120,000. The Shiny Totem and Sparkling Totem are both now 250,000. The Mutation Totem is now 200,000. The Megalodon Hunt and Kraken Hunt are both now 80,000. And lastly, the Scylla Hunt Totem is now 100,000. Merlin's prices for enchant relics has also been changed as follows. The Aquarium Splash Snacks has been reduced to a price of 7,500. And finally, the daily shop items. The Exalted Relic has been dropped to 110,000. The Lunar Thread has been dropped to 250,000. And lastly, the Moonstone has dropped to 200,000. Now, this part will cover all the rods. So, firstly, the Fast Rod has its price lowered from 4,500 to 4,000. The Long Rod has its price lowered from 4,500 to 3,000. The Lucky Rod has its price lowered from 5,250 to 4,500. The Plastic Rod has its price lowered from 900 to 750. The Stone Rod has its price reduced from 3,000 to 2,000. The Fortune Rod has its price lowered from 12,750 to now 11,000. The Fungal Rod has a change to its passive, where you will now receive 50 luck instead of 30. The Magma Rod has its change to a passive that it has, where it now has a 35% chance to get the Ember mutation instead of the 10% for the Ashen Fortune mutation. The Nocturnal Rod has an increase in Leer speed from -10 to 50. The Precision Rod is now free when crafted. The Rapid Rod has its price lowered from 14,000 to 12,000. And its max kg now is 800. The Depth Seeker Rod now has a 5% progression speed passive. The Phoenix Rod has a change to its passive, where it now has a extra 10% to catch the Solar Blaze mutation. The Scurvy Rod has now a 15% for the Greedy mutation instead of its original 13. The Mythic Rod has an increase to its Resilience from 0.05 to 15, and its max kg from 2,000 to 2,500. The King's Rod has an increase for its Lair speed. It is now 30. The Carrot Rod now requires you to complete the Carrot Garden Bestiary to purchase it, but has it changed to its passive, where it is now a 50% for the Carrot mutation, a 10% to spawn the Carrot pool for 30 seconds, which will grant everyone fishing in that pool a 50% to get the Carrot mutation. The Great Dreamer Rod has its price nerfed from 500,000 to 700,000. The Resourceful Rod only requires level 50 to craft, and it is free. The Riptide Rod now only requires level 30 and it's free to craft. The Seasoned Rod now only requires level 40 and it is free to craft. The Volcanic Rod has its price lowered to 250,000. The Voyager Rod and Wisdom Rod and Celestial Rod has its level requirement dropped to 80 and it's now free to craft. The Celestial Rod has a change to its passive, where you will receive 100 luck, 60 Leer speed, 50% more XP, and a 100% for the Celestial mutation for 2 minutes every 15 fishes. The Abyssal Spectre now only costs 850,000, but it has a level requirement of 170. The Rod of Depths has a change to its passive, where the bonus fish given by the ghost is now guaranteed to have the Abyssal Mutation. The Scarlet Spinecaster Rod now only costs 180,000. The Boom Ball Rod now costs 50,000. The Lost Rod only requires level 100 to craft, and it's free. The Toxic Spire Rod and Vine Weaver Rod have their max kg lowered to 100,000 and 50,000 respectively. The Challenger's Rod now costs 750,000, but it has a level requirement of 110. The Great Rod of Oscar now costs 2.5 million, but it has a level requirement of 250. The Heaven's Rod now costs 1.75 million, but it has a level requirement of 220. The Kraken's Rod now costs 950,000, but has a level requirement of 180. The Leviathan Fang Rod now costs 350,000. The Luminescence Oath price has been decreased to 1 million, but its control is nerfed from I think 0.18 to 0.1. Its resilience has been increased to 12, but its passive has unfortunately received a nerf, where it now only gains 2% progression every second. The No Life Rod has its slash power tripled, where it now gives you 6% instead of the original 2%. The Poseidon Rod now only costs 750,000, but has a level requirement of 100. The Tempest Rod now costs 500,000, but has a level requirement of 80. And the Zeus Rod now costs 850,000 with a level requirement of 150. The Cerulean Fang now costs 800,000, but has a level requirement of 400. Alongside that, it has received a 50% chance for the Nova mutation. The Dustwire from the Underground Music Venue now costs 500,000. The Rod of the Eternal King now requires level 400 to craft, and it's free. The Rod of the Forgotten Fang now requires level 700, and it's free to craft. It has also received a new mutation, being Tidal, which is a 25%, and the Megalodon passive will now give a guaranteed Tidal mutation with a higher rarity fish, giving it a weight increase from 25% to 50%. The Wicked Fang Rod now only costs 400,000 with a level requirement of 300. It also received a 30% for the Solar Blaze mutation. The Eidolon Rod now only costs 2 million, but has a level requirement of 350. The Ethereal Prism Rod now only costs 3.5 million, but has a level requirement of 250. The Evil Pitchfork now requires 2.5 million to craft. The Rod of the Zenith now costs 1.5 million, but has a level requirement of 150. The Spirit Binder now requires level 850 to craft, and 500,000. The passive has also been changed, where it is now a 25% to give the Spirit mutation, and a 5% to hook the highest rarity fish in the area that you're fishing in. The Ruinous Oath now costs 5 million, and a level requirement of 500 to purchase. The Wind Elemental Rod, or Wind Elemental, now requires level 800 to start the quest from the Windmaster. The Tryhard Rod now requires level 100 to start the quest, or 100 million credits to buy the rod directly. This rod can be bought at any stage of the questline. The Dreambreaker now costs 5 million from the Restless Ones quest. The Cinderblock rod can be bought at the laboratory beside Roslet Bay for 50,000. The Random rod can be bought in the daily shop from a credit range ranging from 1 to 1 million. And that's it for the rods. Now we'll move on to enchants. Firstly, with the regular enchants. Abyssal now has a 20% to mutate the fish. Breeze now has a 50 luck, 10 leer speed, and progression, and all of these stats are doubled during a windy weather. Chronos now stops the fish momentarily for every 2.5 seconds. Divine now gives 50 luck and extra 20 resilience and a 25 progression. Flashline now has a 25% for 100% progression and a 75% for 15% progression. Insight now has an extra 10% leer speed added on to its leer speed boost. Long has received an additional 10% progression to its original progression boost. Lucky now gives 25 luck, 15 leer speed, and it's 50% for natural mutation. Momentum's ability now stacks up to 40% instead of 30%. Noah now gives a 20% fish weight instead of 10%. Quality now gives 20 luck, 10 resilience, 20 leer speed, and its original 5% progression speed. Resilient alongside its 35 resilience now gives an extra 10% fish weight. Steady now adds alongside the 20 progression a 0.05 control. Storming now has a 50 luck, 25 leer speed, and a 25% for the electric mutation. All of these are doubled during a rainy weather. And lastly, for regular enchants, Swift now gives an extra 5% progression alongside its original. Now for the Exalted Relics. Piercing now has a 30% to slash the fish per movement. And Quantum now gives a extra 25 resilience on top of its original mutation chance. And lastly for enchants, the Cosmic Relics. Tenacity now increases your progression by 20 for every snap reel, up to infinite. And Tryhard now gives an extra 30% instead of its original 25 progression. This update also changed almost every mutation in one way or another, which I will go over now. So, Abyssal is now 5.5 times, Albino is now 1.2 times, Alien is now 8 times, Amber is now 1.2 times, Anomalous is now 5.55 times, Astral is now 3 times, Atlantean is now 4 times, Atomic is now an 8 times, Aurite is now 2.5 times, Aurelian is now 2 times, Auroras is now 1.5 times, Aureliant is now 3 times, Betty is now 2.5 times, Birthday is now 8 times, Blessed is now 8.5 times, Bloom is now 4 times, Breeze is now 8.5 times, Brother is now 3 times, Karen is now 5 times, Celestial is now 4 times, Cement is 1.5 times, Chaotic is now 8 times, Shield is now 6 times, Chrono Woken is now 8 times, Crimson is now 4 times, Crystallized is now 3.5 times, Cursed is now 4 times, Darken is now 1.5 times, Darkness is now 9.4 times, Distraught is now a 8.5 times. Deruno is now 7 times. Electric is now a 2.1 times. Evil is now 6.5 times. Fabulous is now 9.3 times. Festive is 2.4 times. Firework is 4 times. Flora is now 7 times. Fortune is now 6 times. Fossilized is now 3.3 times. Fragmented is now 8 times. Frozen is now 1.5 times. Fungal is now a 4 times. Galaxy is now an 8 times. Gemstone is now a 5 times. Ghastly is now a 3 times. Glacial is now an 8 times. Glowy is also now an 8 times. Greedy is now a 5 times. Haunted is now a 6 times. Hexed is now a 3 times. Inferno is now a 7 times. Jack's Curse is now a 8.5 times. Jolly is now a 2.2 times. Leveritas is now a 5 times. Lightning is now a 2 times. Lost is now a 4.5 times. Lucid is a 3.5 times. Luminescent is 6.5 times. Lustrous is 7 times. Madness is now 8 times. Mango is now 7 times. Mustard is now a 9 times. Mayhem is now an 8 times. Midas is now a 2.5 times. Minty is now a 3.2 times. Moonkissed is now a 4 times. Mossy is now a 8.7 times. Mythical is now a 5.5 times. Necrotic is now a 7.4 times. Nightmare is now an 8.8 times. Nocturna is now an 8.8 times. Nova is now a 6 times. Nuclear is also a 6 times. Oak is now a 2.3 times. Oblivion now is a 8.5 times. Oscar is now a 6.4 times. Phantom is now a 4.5 times. Poison is now a 0.9. Prismize is now a 5.5 times. Purified is now 2.5. Puritas is 8.7 times. Quiet is a 3 times now. Radiant is an 8 times. Rainbow Cluster is now a 5 times. Secretus is now a 7 times. Sanguine is now a 5 times. Scorch is now a 3 times. Serene is now a 8 times. Shrouded is now a 7 times. Silver is now a 1.8 times. Sinister is now 2.9. Serene Spite is now a 5 times. Scrunkly is now 2.5 times. Snowy is 6 times. Solar Blaze is now a 3 times. Spectral is now an 8 times. Spicy is also an 8 times. Spirit is a 5.2 times. Stardust is a 4 times. Studded is a 1.8 times. Subspace a now 6 times. Sunken a 4.5 times. Surreal a 0 to 8 times. Tentacle Surge 7.8 times. Toxic is a 6 times. Tryhard is now a 10 times. Umbra is now a 9 times. And lastly, Wrath is now a 4.5 times. Now, finally, onto the quality of life changes that this update brings us. So, firstly, the aquarium now allows you to click or select either the best credits or best XP. It also has an option to show cosmetic fishes, which everyone can see. Although this doesn't really boost anything, it's just purely for cosmetic. Next, the mutations or sizes when catching fish will now be highlighted alongside an example which will be shown here. As you can see, maybe not exotic fishes, but other fishes such as mythics or legendaries will have their own color codes and bold what do you call it? Bold their text. Yeah, that. The black market, yes, has also been added for the weekend, where it has I think 70% to spawn every 15 minutes globally, and the stock of the black market will have everything that has been ever added into the black market. Some rods and some items will have the price lowered, but some things like the money bag and the titles will not be lowered. Rods that might make a comeback will be the katana rod, the electric guitar, the upside down rod, Nate's blade, and the sword of darkness. There is also a daily reward system where logging in every day will give you different items for 7 days. They also added a disable cutscene option, which is right here, which allows you to skip, like example, the Scylla cutscene. And lastly, they added multi-opening for crates, bait crates, and fish barrels. And that's about it for this video. It was a slightly longer one, but I hope I covered everything and all the changes that have been made in this update. If I did miss anything, please feel free to let me know in the comments down below. But until then, I'll be seeing you guys. Bye!